All right, hello everybody. It is David Kendrick, owner of Lion Speaking Agency and your favorite Purple Heart veteran. What I'm going to get into today is talking about using your voice to speak for change. If you don't know who I am or it's the first time watching the video, the Lion and Lion Speaking Agency is all about getting on stage and having the heart to advocate for other people for causes that you believe in. So let's go ahead and get right into it and let me talk about why I do what I do on stage and how everything got started with Lion Speaking Agency. So I was injured in 2007, and when I got back, I started to see soldiers come back from the battlefield in the barracks and commit suicide. And when I was having conversations with other veterans in this unit, I was in the Warrior Transition Unit out of Fort Carson, Colorado in 2010. And a lot of us deployed during the troop surge, and a lot of us were coming back and going to the barracks to commit suicide. And when I got out of the Army in 2010, I had my own unsuccessful attempt at suicide. And I woke up literally in the hospital room, in this padded room, and I saw the pain in my mom's face because as soon as I opened my eyes, she was the first person that I saw. And so she saw her son get shot by a sniper on the battlefield and see me in the hospital room after that. And now she's seeing me in a padded room at Rochester General Hospital in the psychiatric ward after an unsuccessful suicide attempt. So I got some help. I got enrolled in this program for other veterans, and I started to talk with other veterans who had unsuccessful suicide attempts as well. And my career started just in group therapy. But then I continued to talk about what I was going through because this was a cause that I truly, truly believe in. I feel very strongly in. We go to war and we come back and we're dying from suicide. And I'm talking about brave men and women who have served their country, gotten injured on the battlefield, and come back with these psychological and physical scars that they just can't get over, and they think that suicide is a viable option. So I decided to use my voice, get on stage, advocate for us. I started doing that when I was 23 years old when I got out of the Army. I'm in my late 30s and I'm still doing it now. But let's talk about how you can use your voice to speak for change. First thing that I would advise is find something that you believe needs to be changed at its lowest level. And that's going to be in your community. So we have things here like the political structure in your town. Funding or research for a specific cause that is close to you. If you have a loved one, a family member, a friend that may have something that's going on that you think can be changed, you can start advocating and speaking for that. Something like prison reform in your area. If you live in a community where a lot of people are just going to prison for things that you don't think they should go to prison for, you can advocate on behalf of that. Or if you think that a certain law in your town and your community needs to be changed, you can start advocating for that. If you think that your local library needs more funding because the education and the literacy rates in your town are continuously dropping, which is something that's happening in America, you can advocate for that to get that funding for these schools in the area. So that's the first thing you can do to speak for change. Number two, what I would advise, and you're going to need this is the lion in my business, be brave. You're going to have to be brave. No matter what your cause is, somebody's going to oppose it. And it may sound crazy, but somebody's going to oppose it, or because you're starting at such a low level, nobody's going to listen to you. Because you don't have the voice yet, using the lion analogy, you're a little cub. You're not a lion yet. It's like Mufasa trying to teach Simba how to roar. You're learning how to use your voice. And what I found is when you use your voice and you're angry and you're firing off angry emails, your anger is going to be the only thing that people hear, and your message is going to get drowned out by your anger. So be brave, be calm. And first of all, you have to believe in your cause, because if you don't believe in it and if you don't speak with a certain level of fervor, then nobody's going to believe in your cause, because they're going to say you gave a half-hearted speech for whatever cause you got in front of people for, or whatever you're trying to advocate for, whatever petition you're trying to get people to sign. You're going to be the face of that, and people have to believe in you. So here's how you can kind of use a couple of tips and tricks that you can use. If you have a presentation, you can use statistics or pictures to help with your presentation. I always use statistics and pictures in my presentations because of the number of veterans that were committing suicide when I got out. So the number at first, it was 10 veterans a day. Then it got to 20 veterans a day. Then it got to over 20 veterans a day. And then there was a period of time in the country where we had more soldiers dying from suicide than in combat. So those are some statistics that I use to help me along my way. Something else that I do, I said earlier, you start at your lowest level. I'm a national advocate for NAMI now, but I started, and NAMI is a National Alliance on Mental Illness. And I started my cause just by advocating at its lowest level in DeKalb County, Georgia. And I slowly worked my way up, and then I became co-president of NAMI DeKalb to help advocate for those individuals in my county who live with mental illness, because I didn't want to advocate only for veterans, but for everybody in my community who has a mental illness. And we have a very diverse community here in DeKalb. So, hey, let's find out. Let's go out into the community and find out if this certain community or, a group of religious individuals have barriers to their mental health care. Because the way that you receive your mental health care may not be the way that I receive it, and vice versa. Get sworn statements from people impacted by the thing that you want to see in your community. And when I spoke at NamiCon, that's our biggest national mental health conference, I believe it was in Denver a couple of years ago, I learned about something called food deserts. I didn't learn about it, but there's something even smaller than a food desert where people have to drive like 20 miles just to get nourishment, just to get food, So if you have somebody in your community, get a sworn statement from them. Say, hey, I have to drive 10 miles to find produce or to find any food that's healthy for me, instead of having to go to a corner store or go to a local Walmart that doesn't serve all the healthy food that we need. And I'm just using Walmart as an example. It could be whatever local grocery store chain you have in your area. But getting those sworn statements and the stats from whatever demographic you're going to be advocating for will greatly. First of all, it'll make you a person of authority for your cause. Because if you get on stage and you don't have anything to back up why you're either asking people for money or to sign a petition, you're going to lose half your audience right there. All right. Last tip that I have, number 3, never stop. Never stop advocating. You'll be surprised. I've been doing this since I was 23 years old. And when I get off stage after giving a keynote, you'll have a long line of people waiting to shake your hand or speak with you. And you'll be surprised how many people that will speak to me and say, man, David, my son is going through exactly what you're going through. Here, can you take my card and give him some resources? Or, man, I was in the Army 5 years ago and I was going through what you're going through. Can you help me out? Or where can I follow you? How can I help you in your cause? Because if you speak from a position of authority and expertise, people are going to want to follow you. And then that's how you gain a following. And then you just never stop. So here's the 3 things that I have. Just a quick little talk and a quick little recap. Think about the things that you want to be changed. Be brave. Believe in your cause. Number 3, never, ever stop. And that's why we are Lion Speaking Agency, using your voice to change and advocate for things that you believe need to be changed, getting on stage, being brave, and advocating for things that you think need to be changed in your community. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is David Kendrick. You can find out more about me at www.dkendrickjr.com. Leave me a comment or go to my website and leave me a message, and let's talk about me talking for you.